Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here I have a placeholder article for you guys from CNET. This is an older article. I'll leave it in the description in case you guys haven't seen it. So, yesterday I made the video titled My Only Concern with T-Mobile. And just to briefly recap that in the beginning of this video, my only concern with T-Mobile is that they continue loading up the network day in and day out. And you can see that in the title. T-Mobile continues growth streak with 1.3 million new customers. T-Mobile doesn't just grow postpaid. We also got to keep that in mind. They grow wholesale, right? They grow prepaid. They grow all that. And that's where these total numbers come from. They got Mint Mobile. They got some other MVNO partners that partner with them. And they continue expanding those partnerships and relationships. So they aren't done on the wholesale. And then Dish also adds some traffic to the network as well. So the concern here is as they continue loading up millions and millions of customers, how does that affect the network? Now, the perspective that I wanted to take in this video, maybe T-Mobile is doing this and they're thinking of it as we're going to get it while the getting is good. Verizon is not really participating much. If you look at the mobile network operator space, Verizon is the company that's really down. They lose on the consumer side. They don't really grow. So right now, the getting is good because Verizon doesn't really compete. Now, here's where that could change. That could change at any moment, and T-Mobile understands that very well. AT&T is already included in their run rate. They already know AT&T competes fairly well. AT&T does decent on growth. So T-Mobile understands that. Same with cable. But Verizon is the odd man here because at any moment in time they could change leadership, starting at the very top with Hans Vestberg, and then that trickles down, and then all of a sudden Verizon could take a very different approach, very different strategy, and they could all of a sudden become very competitive. And T-Mobile has to look at that and understand that as well. Next year, 2025, whenever that is, that could completely change everything. Verizon could all of a sudden very quickly become competitive. And right now, you have to look at when we talk competitiveness, we have to look at it overall. And I've said this in plenty of videos. You could have the best burritos on the block, but if you're not good at marketing, if you're not great with customer service, nobody will come and buy those burritos. And it's similar with Verizon. They don't have the overall package right now. So during the holiday season, it's not hard to really grow. And they showed us that last year. They grew. They really didn't even try. Their promotions that they're running today are not anywhere or I should say, they are way more aggressive than they were just a year ago. Q4 2022, not anywhere close to as aggressive as they are this year. So they have to translate that into growth in Q1, Q2, and Q3. I emphasized that in a different video as well. So that has to do with marketing, digital marketing, national marketing. That comes down to customer service, to the retail reps. All of that has to be on the same sheet of music for you to make that happen. Verizon is very promotionally heavy right now, very competitive, but it hasn't really translated into marketing. And I know they just got a new CMO, but I'm already hearing, she might not be the best fit. But we'll give her time. We'll see what she does. But Verizon really doesn't have that time. They can't sit there and still be in a figure it out mode. The market is moving very quickly. T-Mobile's marketing is effective. Their customer service is effective. And I know that varies. But overall, if you look at everything, they keep coming in with better churn versus year over year. So it's not like their churn is spiraling out of control. The churn is lower versus year over year. So that's something that T-Mobile is looking at, and they see it as a success. So right now, I think T-Mobile is really focused on getting it while the getting is good. Verizon is not in it. They're not in it to win it right now. If the consumer of the Verizon base does not, is not willing to pay the pricing, Verizon is willing to let that customer go. And like I said, today you can get Verizon's network in multiple ways. You can get it through digital, visible, you can get it on cable, you can get it with the track phones of the world. It's however you want to do it, you can get the Verizon network. You don't have to get Verizon postpaid anymore like in the past to be on the Verizon network. So T-Mobile's approach probably right now, let's load up. And they said that recently at a quarterly earnings, not this one, but the past one. Mike Sievert said, Ulf builds the network and we load it up. And that statement is very true. They load it up. The network can only handle so much. I know they just put 2.5 on air, but again, the networks have their breaking points. They have their limits. And FWA is not 100% being sold how it's supposed to be sold. If you guys have heard that in previous videos, right? There's store reps that are looking to make that sale, so they put in an address that qualifies, even though that customer's address didn't qualify, and they give them the router anyway. So that's a risky sell to begin with, because within that 15-day period, that neighborhood may not cut it, so that customer takes that product back anyway. But again, they're trying to really push this to the next level. You're seeing 1.3 million. The Q4 numbers, they're probably going to be higher. Postpaid's going to be higher. Wholesale's going to be higher. Prepaid's likely to be higher too. Just promotionally, more activity, right? Marketing does have a higher spend versus the first 3 quarters of the year. Maybe I guess Q2 could probably be an interesting one because of the Super Bowl, but it's usually Q4 is your heaviest activity on marketing. And T-Mobile said they're not spending more, they're not accelerating. Mike Sievert recently said that at a CNBC interview right before the Formula One race. But he says they're steady. They're steady at the spend that they feel is good, and I know that does go up, right? You're not going to spend the same marketing dollars in Q2 or Q3 as you do in Q4. That's just not going to happen. So Q4 is promotionally more heavy, marketing is spending more. So that's when everything has to be, everyone has to be on the same sheet of music. Customer service, the queues are going to be more filled, so they're going to get more calls. The store reps are going to see more customers walking in the doors, especially if the marketing is resonating and the deals are good. More people are going to walk into the stores. So that's what I feel. T-Mobile right now is just taking advantage of the getting while the getting is good. Verizon's not really competing. AT&T could be competing a bit more aggressive, I feel, if I look at their national campaigns, their marketing, but they still do 400,000 to 500,000. And Stanky recently announced their Q4 is better than their Q3. So that's looking, I think Q4 on the postpaid side, they probably do about 600 to 650,000. Q4, they did close to 500,000. I mean, Q3, they did close to 500,000. So they're fine where they're at. They seem comfortable. So T-Mobile is the one that's really forcing the issue competitively. T-Mobile has to look at everything. They include cable in the run rate. They likely include MVNOs in the run rate. So that's who they compete against. So they're competing not just against AT&T and Verizon, but they're competing against everyone else because they're looking to grow. So if they don't compete against everyone else, they probably wouldn't grow as much as they are. But still, they continue to grow each and every quarter. There is no slowdown in sight. So I think while that is my biggest concern because of how is the network going to be even 12 months from now, if they continue adding 3 million customers a year at the end of 2024, you have to reevaluate the speeds, the capacity, how is it performing? All of that has to be reevaluated because you're growing at such a quick scale. And that 3 million is just postpaid. That doesn't include prepaid and wholesale and everything else that they sell and fixed wireless access too. So all of that has to be taken into consideration. So that's what I feel they're doing right now. They're taking advantage of the situation. Dish is not really playing in the market today as a native player. Verizon is down. They're in the negatives. So really, T-Mobile just has, from a mobile network operator perspective, they just have to worry about AT&T, but AT&T really hasn't gotten to the aggressive level that I feel AT&T could get to, but AT&T feels they're still fine, and you can see on the numbers, they still do decent numbers quarter over quarter. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know if there's if you didn't watch the video yesterday. Let me know if you have any concern with T-Mobile's network moving forward, and let me know if you think that T-Mobile is really just capitalizing on the getting while the getting is good. Like I said, at any time, and I mean that any time, it could be very quickly, right? It could be from one week to the next. We have Verizon new CEO, new leadership, and then boom, strategy's different. So we have to really look at that and keep a close eye. Hans Vestberg right now is in tune with the board from what I got from his recent conference. And the board is really liking the fact that the financials are his focus. So the board in that sense is really not looking for, every single customer to join Verizon either, as long as the service revenue, the cash flow, as long as all of that is increasing, the board seems to be fine. But if those financials in any way, shape, or form start to move in the wrong direction, then I could see the board getting involved in a much bigger way. But until then, we'll see what happens. We'll monitor this very closely. Q4 is now in full swing. We have the last few weeks left in the year before the quarter is out. So we'll see what happens with the marketing. We'll see if we see a ramp up. But make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow my social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when content does go out. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.